Okay, and, double all praises on this video is based on a lesson of Daniel's the 11th chapter 4 breakdown. It's not talking about no Obama. It's not talking about Russia and America. It's not talking about Antiochus Epiphanes. It's not talking about the abomination and desolation. Ain't talking about no goddamn Obama or Russia. It ain't talking about no Antiochus Epiphanes, the king of the north and the king of the south. It ain't talking about no damn. But I don't even like to diss things. What ain't is, I'm gonna say what it is, because the Son of Man came to minister and not to be ministered to. So the Holy Spirit had to reveal to you through the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the one true living power, the creator of heaven and earth. His power, his understanding, he had to put the understanding of force to that spirit to enlighten you to the course of what is his holy scriptures talking about. Because he made the doctrine perfect. So this is a hard top. This is a hard chapter, but it's through the spirit. It's practically not that hard, but it is something that is not too. Nobody can just get in this and just say this is what they're talking about without the Holy Spirit, because the Lord said what? And Peter's, I stir up your pure mind, though you once have known this. So the Holy Spirit had to stir you up to the course of life according to what the function of God's scriptures is, because the Most High scriptures is validated based on his power of him functioning in reality. So this is Daniel's 11 chapter 4 breakdown. This is Daniel 11. Also, I, in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. Right? So, Daniel stood to confirm and strengthen Darius the third, the king of the Medes, the king of the Persians, which was a so-called what? Elamite, which is the Iranian ancient. Persia is Iran, modern day Iran today. The second verse of Daniel's 11, because it's long, so I'm just going to get to it. And if you get it through the Holy Spirit, it's for you. If not, it's not for you, because the Holy Spirit, I don't have to lie. I don't want to create none based on the Holy Scriptures to say some is, it ain't. Because I know factual by the Holy Spirit what God said and what his scriptures mean. And it's perfect. And it's unrefutable, because the scriptures is perfect. The Holy Spirit perfect. The Bible said what? Into the law and to the testimony. They speak not according to this, because there's not no light in them. So these laws, the light of the law, it enlightens you with this understanding of the Holy Spirit, of the Most High words which he functioned. In this period, what it's talking about. And now will I, this second verse of Daniel 11, and now will I show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than they all. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. So, the 3 kings that stood up after Darius was who? Cyrus the Great, which was 559 to 530 BCE. Darius the Great, 522. Not Darius the Third, Shalakia. Cyrus the Great. Darius, Cyrus the Great. Cyrus was 640 to 600 BCE. Cyrus the Great was the second. Cyrus the Great, 559 to 530 BCE, which is Iranian kings, Persian kings, so-called East Indians. Darius the Great, 522 to 486 BCE, and Xerxes the Great, king of Persia, 485 to 465 BCE. And the fourth shall be far richer than they all. Right, Xerxes was more glamorous type king of Persia. They show you that on the 300, he was Xerxes, and he had gold all over his ears, all over his face, all over his nose, all over his neck. He was far richer, meaning he's far more. He decked himself more with gold and jewels. 300, Xerxes talked to Leonidas. He showed himself what? That he had gold all over his face. Literally. So the fourth shall be far richer than they all the kings, which is the Achaemenid Empire. The Achaemenid Empire, which was Persia, Iran, the Achaemenid Empire, which is the so-called East Indies. The part of the statue in Daniel the second chapter tell you of the statue. Babylon, Persia was the silver arms. So Persia, that was the kingdom. Babylon, the Medes and the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans. And that was Persians. So the four kings is King Cyrus, which is Daniel's 2. Cyrus the Great, Darius the Great, and Xerxes the Great. Through his riches he shall stir up all against the realm of Greece. Right, so that was called about the Greco-Persian Wars, which was 499 BC to 449 BCE, and 485 to 465. So he was alive during this time. Xerxes the Great. He stirred up against the realm of Greece because there was Greco-Persian wars. The Greeks and the Persians had different wars that stirred up against Greece and Persia, because Greece was going to be able to be implemented by that statue of the gold head, the silver arms, the breastplate, the brass with arm, the leg of arm, the brass is Greece. And a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. Right, a mighty king is going to raise up and do according to his will, his plan, which is the plan of the Most High Yahweh. But he thought it was his plan because he planned it. The plan of Alexander the Great. That's talking about Alexander the Great. That king in Daniel 11, the 3rd chapter, is talking about Daniel 11 and 2. It's talking about the four kings of Persia, the Achaemenid Empire, Cyrus the First, Cyrus the Great, Darius the Great, and Xerxes the Great. Daniel 11 and 3 is talking about, and a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. It's Alexander the Great, because he had a plan to conquer all the eastern hemisphere unto Egypt and Lebanon, starting from Greece, which is in Europe, circling all the eastern hemisphere to passing Israel unto Egypt, Africa, in Lebanon, in Libya, Shalakya. And a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. That's talking about Alexander the Great, his plan. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken and shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven. Right. How is his kingdom broken and divided to the four winds of heaven? This First Maccabees 1 and 6. First Maccabees 1 and 6. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them which was yet alive. While he was yet alive. And who is this talking about? This, and it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who, right? So it's talking about Alexander the Great, the Greek, Alexander the Greek of Macedonia, which is a city in Greece. So that mighty king that shall stand up in Daniel 11:3 is Alexander the Greek. And when in Daniel 11:4, Daniel 11:4, Alexander the Greek is that king that shall rise up. Daniel 11:4, and when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken and shall be divided toward the four winds. Right, that's talking about the what? The Diochi. The Diochi, which is four generals, Alexander the Greek. In 33:6 BCE, the Macedonian Greek kingdom was split, called Diochi, which is the successors. And the successors, the four successors, was Cassandra, Ptolemy, and Antiochus and Seleucus, which was 323 BCE. 323 BCE. During when Alexander the Greek was finna die, he started his kingdom, Greece, that he conquered, that he ruled by his four generals, Cassandra, Ptolemy, Antiochus, and Seleucus. That's how his kingdom was divided to the four winds of heaven, and not to his prosperity, right? Because it wasn't to his prosperity, because he conquered all the Eastern Hemisphere, Alexander the Greek. This, he conquered all the Eastern Hemisphere unto Egypt and Libya, past Israel into Egypt and Libya, and conquered it, and only to his kingdom to be divided to the four corners, the four winds, by his four generals, Cassandra, Ptolemy, Antiochus, and Seleucus, which he ruled, for his kingdom shall be plucked up even of heaven, and not to his prosperity, nor according to his dominion which he ruled, for his kingdom shall be plucked up even for others besides those. Right, even besides those, his kingdom was plucked up, because it was rooted out by Rome. Greece fell to Rome. Greece fell to Rome in 146 BCE. Greece fell to Rome. So his Alexander the Great, Alexander the Greek, his kingdom, Daniel 11:4, was broken up by the Diochi, which is the four generals of his four generals. Alexander the four generals was Cassandra, Ptolemy, Antiochus, and Seleucus. And the not to his prosperity, because he proceeded to conquer all the Eastern Hemisphere. Alexander the Greek conquered all the Eastern Hemisphere. And once he conquered all the Eastern Hemisphere, his kingdom was divided, not to his prosperity, which he proceeded to conquer. Which he ruled over all the Eastern Hemisphere, for his kingdom should be plucked up even for others besides those. Right, that's talking about to Rome, because Greece had to fall to Rome. Because the statue in Daniel the 2nd chapter tell you of the Babylonian head, the chest pressed muscles with the silver and the brass thighs, which was next after the Medo-Persian, which was the brass thighs, in Rome with the iron legs. So Rome was next to rule. And Rome, and the feet with Murray clay. Greece fell to Rome in 146 BCE. And right. So that's what Daniel 11:2, and now right, the four kings in Daniel 11:2 is Cyrus the first, Cyrus the Great the second, Darius the Great the third, and fourth king is Xerxes the Great, king of Persia. Daniel 11:3 is talking about Alexander the Great, and Daniel 11:4 is talking about Alexander the Greek kingdom. Alexander the Greek kingdom was divided into was divided by his four generals into four different kingdoms. Of his kingdom was divided into four different sects of his kingdom by his four generals. It's Cassandra, Ptolemy, Antiochus, and Seleucus. And this Daniel's 11:5. And the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion. So the king of the south, is Neoptolemus the first of Epirus, which is south of Greece. The king of the south and the king of the north is talking about southern Greece and northern Greece. Southern Greece and northern Greece. The king of the south, the first part is talking about southern Greece and northern Greece. Then it take about Greece period, and then the Persians, which is south from Greece, because north Europe is what Greece is, and south from the north of Greece is where? South is Persia, Iran, the Middle East, and Greece is in Europe, the north. But the first king was this Daniel 11:5. Daniel 11:5. And the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion. Right, so Neoptolemus the first of Epirus, the king of the south, which was called Molossians. And one of his princes is his brother, which is Arembius, which is Arymbas, Arembius. That was his brother, one of his princes. So they ruled Greece together, practically. The king of the south and the king of the north ruled Greece together. They first started ruling Greece together, North Greece and Southern Greece. So the king, Daniel 11:5, and the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion. So the king of the south is Neoptolemus, the king of the south, he ruled in 360 BCE. The king of the south king of the south of Greece, and one of his princes is his brother, he was the king, so he was next to the throne, so he's a prince, brother, Arembius, which succeeded his brother in 358 BCE, and his dominion was great because he ruled Greece. And in the end of years, they shall join themselves together for the king's daughter of the south. The king's daughter of the south, Neoptolemus, the king's daughter of the south, for the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement. Right. So the king of the south, so the king of the north is Philip II. And in Daniel 11:6, the king of the south, the king of the north is Philip II, which was the father of Alexander the Great, his rulership was 359 BCE to 336 BCE. The father of Alexander the Great, the king of the north of Macedon, north of Greece. So south of Greece was the rulership of south of Greece, Neoptolemus, which was the king of the south, and Philip II was the king of the north. And Philip came, this king of the south, which was Neoptolemus' brother, which offered what? His daughter Neoptolemus' daughter, his niece. That was the king of the south. The king of the south was Neoptolemus. Neoptolemus. Neoptolemus, which ruled in 360 BCE, the king of the south. And the king of the north is Philip II, the ruler of north of Greece. The ruler of the king of the ruler of the king of the south of Greece, and the ruler of the king of the north of Greece, and south of Greece. Ptolemaeus ruled south of Greece, and Philip II ruled north of Greece. And Philip II came to Neoptolemus to rule. Neoptolemus' brother Arrhabaeus came to Philip II, the king of the north. And in the end of years they shall join themselves together. For the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement. Right, to make an agreement. And what was that agreement? Arrhabaeus, which was the current king after his brother, because his brother died in 360 BCE. He made a treaty, which is a formal agreement. That's what a treaty is. With a diplomatic marriage of Neoptolemus' daughter, Olympus, to marry Philip, king of the north. Right, to marry the king of the north. So in the end of years, they shall join themselves together, for the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement, but she shall not retain the power of the arm. Right, the power of the arm, which was talking about. Right, so the king of the south, he offered the king of the south daughter to Philip the Great, the king of the north, to an agreement, which is the agreement that they made with the king of the north, Philip II, with a diplomatic marriage to Neoptolemus' daughter, Olympus, to marry Philip, the king of the north, which made her queen consort of Philip. And it say what? But she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand nor his arm, but she shall be given up, and they that brought her, and he that begat her, and he that strengthened her in these times. So when it say, but she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand, usually shares her husband's social rank and status, but historically she does not share the king's political and military power. So the arm is the strength. That woman who married the king Philip II of the king of the north, the agreement that they made, which is a marriage diplomatic for the king's daughter of the south, she wasn't able to rule the military force. Neither shall he stand. Right? He didn't stand. So he didn't rule by him doing it. He thought he was going to be able to get the treaty, was going to make an agreement for him to rule, which was Arrhabaeus, the king of the south at the time of his brother. He gave his brother's Neoptolemus' daughter, Olympus, to Philip II, the king of the north, for agreement, a treaty, which would give her social rank, but not military strength. So, but she shall not retain the power of the arm. She didn't have the military strength. Neither shall he stand nor his arm, but she shall be given up. Right? She was given up, meaning she was done away with. And they that brought her, and he that begat her, right, and they that brought her, Arrhabaeus, he lost his kingdom because of that. He lost his kingdom because Philip II cast him off, Arrhabaeus, the king of the south, and became full king. His son, Philip II, Alexander the Great, the Greek, became the full king of Greece. And he that begat her, right, which is Neoptolemus' daughter. He begat her. He had sex and produced her in life, and he died. And he that begat her, and he that strengthened her in these times, right? And he that strengthened her in these times, which is Philip II, he lost the rulership to his son, Alexander the Greek, in 336 BCE. But out of a branch of her roots, right, Olymius, which is the wife of Philip, he took her to wife. The king of the north took the king of the south daughter, Neoptolemus, the king of the south daughter, to wife, Olymius. He took her to wife and had a son, which is Alexander the Greek. His father is Philip II, and his mother Olymius, which was the daughter of the king of the south, which shall come with an army, right, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against him and prevail, right? So Alexander the Great, as a boy, he instigated a fight that by Philip II military personal bodyguards, his military, that killed him. So he came to the fortress. Philip II marriage. He was at his marriage ceremony marrying one of his wives. And Alexander the Greek, as a boy, he instigated the fight to one of his generals, one of his bodyguards, to kill Philip II. That's why I say, well, in Daniel 11:7, but out of a branch of her roots, which is Olymius, her son, out of her descendants of her roots, shall stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against them, and shall prevail. Right? He dealt against Philip II and prevailed. He came to rulership. Alexander the Great, Greek, surpassed his father in rulership in 336 BCE to rule the Greek Empire. And right, he instigated a fight by one of his generals, his bodyguards, which killed Philip II, his father. In Daniel 11:8, and shall also carry captives into Egypt their gods, with their princes and with their precious vessels of silver and of gold. And he shall continue more years than the king of the north. Right, Alexander the Greek, he would do more. He would continue more. He would do more and conquer more than his father Philip II did, because he's going to conquer Egypt and rule over Egypt and take captives of Egypt and gold and silver, because he would make it to see Egypt. That was a part of the plan of Alexander the Greek. That's why his heart was lifted up, because he planned this out. He thought he did it by himself, but the Most High Yahweh set up Greece to rule. That's why his heart was lifted up. He was proud, because he had a plan to do this, and he was able to do it. And his heart was lifted up. So he came around to rule Greece. His father then ruled all the Eastern Hemisphere until Alexander the Greek ruled over Media Persia until he conquered Medes. So the king of the south shall come into his kingdom and shall return to his own land. Right. So Arambius, he died because Alexander the Greek became the full king of Greece in 336 BCE. Arambius, which was the king of the south, Arambius, the brother of Neoptolemus, the king of the south of Greece, he went back into Greece and died. But his son shall be stirred up. Now it's talking about Daniel 11:10. It's talking about what? It's talking about Greece. It's talking about what? The king of the south. Now in Daniel 11:10 is Persia. It's talking about Persia. Darius of Persia, king of Persia, at the time of Alexander the Greek. But his son shall be stirred up, and shall assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come, and one shall certainly come, and overflow and pass through. Then shall he return and be stirred up, even to his fortress. So it's talking about what? The Greco-Persian